Hey, Warrior Saints, happy Holy Tuesday. Let's jump right into it. I am jazzed because I love the services of Holy Week in general, but especially the ones at the beginning. And I apologize. Yesterday, I did not do a good job. I just kind of referenced what we were doing, but I didn't talk about why we do it. Holy Week is set up in a way where everything is turned upside down. Day is night, night is day. Things are shifted. Up is down, left is right. It's crazy. It's all absolutely crazy because what we are celebrating is absolutely crazy. Am I right? I mean, the fact that the Son of God, who has taken on human flesh, goes willingly to the passion, to his passion, what we call his voluntary and life-giving passion, is absolutely insane. And the church, in her wisdom, has given us the services of Holy Week that even by virtue of the services that are celebrated themselves, they remind us of this thing. Services that are normally celebrated in the morning are now transferred and celebrated in the evening on the night before. So even though we had Orthros on Sunday night, that Orthros that we celebrated is actually the Orthros or Matins, the morning service, what we normally have before Divine Liturgy, is actually then the Orthros, the Matin service of Monday morning. So everything is like we're anticipating, we're getting ready, we're getting ready, we're being prepared, we're shifting, which is why, like we talked about yesterday, we hear that beautiful parable of the fig tree, that we need to bear fruit. And last night, we heard the beautiful parable of the virgins, the 10 virgins that comes to us from Matthew's 25th gospel. That is all about preparedness. And it's pretty interesting. These Orthros services that we celebrate Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night are called bridegroom services because we are anticipating meeting the bridegroom, who is the bridegroom of the church, which is Christ, which we hear about in St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians in chapter 5, when he's talking about husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. It's this image that the church is the bride of Christ and Christ is the groom, the bridegroom of the church. We're going to hear that on Holy Thursday through the hymnography. We hear it all over the place. And as we are anticipating coming to greet the bridegroom as the church, we have these beautiful bridegroom services that we are given. And we hear this beautiful hymn, behold, the bridegroom comes at midnight, and blessed is he whom he shall find worthy. Blessed is he whom the bridegroom will find worthy, but unworthy is he whom the bridegroom will find sleeping. Now, this hymn, this central hymn that we see as the bridegroom troparion for the hymn for those services, really comes to us Holy Monday night in full force, when we're reminded of the parable of the wise and foolish virgins from Matthew 25, as I referenced earlier. And we all know the story, right? There are the 10 virgins who are there to escort the bridegroom to his wedding. 5 of them were wise, 5 were foolish. Why were the ones wise and the ones foolish? Because the 5 that were wise had enough oil, were ready, were prepared, so that when the bridegroom was late, they still didn't run out of oil in their lamps. By comparison, the 5 who were foolish did not have enough oil. Their oil ran out, and when the bridegroom came, they were not ready to go because they were out buying more oil, trying to figure it out. By the time they actually got to the wedding feast, they were not able to escort the bridegroom in. The door was shut, and they heard, I do not know you. The imagery that we're being shown in this is we need to always be prepared. And Holy Week is like our final stretch into that preparation. We had all of Lent to prepare. Lent is all about preparation. And we were called to prepare ourselves. We were given guides. We were given bumps along the way. Things that were there, tools that were given to us at our disposal so that we could be prepared to meet the bridegroom of the church, Christ, who is coming in his bridegroomness, so that we are called to escort him, to meet him, to greet him, and to go with him. But if we're not ready, how are we going to enter into that bridal chamber? And the parable ends with this beautiful phrase, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man will come. We are called to be constantly in this state of preparedness. We are called to be constantly anticipating. the arrival of the bridegroom, to constantly be ready. As we hear in some of the hymnography that we heard last night, O Christ the bridegroom, I who did sleep neglectfully and like the foolish virgins did procrastinate at the time of labor, right? We all have this idea, I'll get to it later. I'll get to it later. I'll be ready to meet the bridegroom, but I'll be ready later. Like, I've got time. What do I need to worry about it? If I've got something coming up this week, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to it next week. How are you going to get to it next week? At some point, the time is going to come. If you've got something coming at the end of this week, you can't keep pushing it till next week. You can't keep kicking the can down the road. And that's precisely what we're being taught in the hymns of last night. I was not in possession of the lamp of virtues. In spite of this, Master, close not against me the wings of thy compassion. That's not what we're called to bank on. We're not banking on Christ's compassion. It's there. But we need to always be prepared. We need to always be ready. And the way that we get ready is by walking the path of crucifixional living. By constantly living our lives in a way that is ready to meet the bridegroom, preparing ourselves, doing the work, doing the business, not procrastinating at the time of labor, but doing what Christ has called us to do, being who Christ has called us to be. Then we're prepared to meet the bridegroom. And we won't have the door shut in front of us. And we won't hear, verily, I do not know you. And that's what we're trying to do here at the Warrior Saints movement. We exist to help you be prepared so that you are always ready. So that when the bridegroom ultimately comes, you have been already walking that path of crucifixional living, following the way of the warrior saint. It is not something that is new. And you are able to then walk with the bridegroom, escorting him as you follow that path, his way of life. Visit us, warriorsaints.org. Get on the way of the warrior saint today. And until we see you tomorrow, have a blessed, holy Tuesday. Keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.